Hey guys, what is up? This is Alex with Fishing MN. Today we're coming at you with a little bit of a different video. This is more of a tip to you guys out there if you're looking to fish any lake that is in Minnesota. Now, you might be able to do this in other states as well, but since all I really do is fish in Minnesota, I don't really know if they offer these type of resources. But today we're going to be talking a little bit about prep work. And what I really mean by prep work is not necessarily the prep work as what you're going to rig up for your fishing lines, getting your boat ready for the lake, making time. That's not exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to prep work. The prep work that I'm talking about today is going to be finding the lake and choosing the lake you want to fish for, as well as basically choosing the lake based on the species of fish they have. And so that prep work here can all be done days before you even go fishing. And as you can see here right on my screen, I got a simple Google, search engine on right now. And so what I like to do right off the bat is I like to search the area that I'm going to be fishing in. And so the main area that I come from and I fish from is in Hutchinson, Minnesota. And so since that's a little bit more familiar with me, we're going to use Hutchinson, Minnesota as our example here. So simply put, in your search engine here, you would type in Hutchinson, Minnesota, which I already got loaded up here, and we can get a general map of that area. Now what this is going to do here is, you can see on the map, it shows us all these different lakes and areas that we can go fishing. It shows you what's around, as well as down here in the bottom right, it gives you kind of a scale, a general scale, to kind of determine how far the lakes are from where you need to come from. And so if we're going to use Hutchinson, Minnesota as our starting point, we can kind of use that guide to get a general idea of how far we can go. So once you got the map loaded up here, really the next thing you got to establish is how much time you're going to have. And so with that being said, you got to look at how much time you have. And what I really mean by that is, are you going to be fishing, say, after work? So you get off work at 5 o'clock. Are you going to try to go to a lake and fish for a couple hours? Or do you have the day off and have most of the day to go fishing? What that's going to determine is how much time you want to dedicate to driving to your destination. And so looking at the map here, we're going to use the example that we have roughly, give or take, about 3 to 4 hours of dedicated fishing time. So basically a scenario of going fishing after work. With that being said, I'm probably going to be looking at lakes close or around Hutchinson, Minnesota, within probably about a 30-minute drive to get there. Now, just because I know the area quite well here, if we look at the map here, Hutchinson being right in the middle here, realistically as far northwest as we can go is probably Litchfield over here. Southwest, probably Hector, which there's not much this way anyways. Southeast, probably Norwood, America, and northeast, we're talking probably about Howard Lake area. So in this general big square here is kind of going to be our destination point. And so when I look at this though, the north part of Hutchinson is where most of these lakes are. As you can see here, we just zoomed in a little bit. So with that 30-minute drive, I more or less can get to any one of these lakes pretty much on the map right now within 30 minutes. So once I have that figured out here, the next thing that I'm going to do is simply determine the type of species I want to go fishing for. So in this case, if I wanted to go for bass or walleye, just establish that right off the bat. And here's why. So if we're going to go, say, fishing for, let's just take walleye as an example. The first thing I want to do is find the closest lakes here, and kind of knowing the closest lakes, you got Stall Lake over here, as well as Hook Lake, or Lake Hook as Google likes to call it. And Minnesota has a nice DNR website here, which is simply dnr.state.mn.us. Brings you to the Department of Natural Resources website, and under this destinations part, there is a lake finder. So if we go ahead and we click that here, we can go back to our lakes here. We'll take a Stall Lake as the example right off the bat. What's really cool is you can actually type in Stall Lake here, and DNR determines it as Stalls, which that's what everyone calls it. If you click it here, it's going to bring us to this page here. Now, kind of in the middle of the screen here, at least for me anyways, it has a kind of a topographical map of it. And if we zoom in, this is kind of nice to look at. It actually shows you the contour depths of the lake. Now, a lot of depth finders nowadays have GPS built on them. They show all of this, so it's not necessarily something you really need to key on, but just getting a general idea of what the lake has and how it looks goes a long way when it comes to preparation when you get there. And so Stalls, basically here, it does have a deeper end right here, but it's pretty much like just about any lake around Hutchinson. It's pretty much a bowl. And so you have a nice steady drop off here, while you have maybe a little bit faster drop offs, kind of an island point here. Kind of just gives you a general idea of how the lake is suited, and you can kind of give or take almost decide where you want to go before you even get there. But the most important thing I like about this page is actually on the top left here where it says Fisheries Lake Survey. When I click that here, what this is going to do is the DNR will occasionally do surveys on a lake. And what a survey really is they put in different types of nets and they're sampling the fish that are in the waters. They're taking down the measurements and the type of fish they are, and they're documenting that for you, and you can basically view this anytime you want. And so with that being said, when I look at this is going to give me a general idea of what type of species are actually in the lake, as well as maybe give you a general idea of what is abundant in that lake. Now, this here is kind of cool. Length of selected species sampled. This is all gear combined. One point I want to make before I do anything, up here you can actually choose the different surveys. You can tell Stalls, it's been about 10 years actually since they surveyed it. But down here it gives you kind of a general idea of what's in it, roughly how big, and what you can kind of expect from a lake of Stalls here. Right off the bat, knowing Stalls, they're filled with just stunted sunfish, stunted panfish. And so you can see here it had 1,261 total bluegill, as well as 153 crappie, which kind of surprised me a little bit because I fished this lake quite a bit in the wintertime. We've only caught a few crappie out of here. But it gives you kind of a general idea of what this lake is really good for. Now, we determined our species of choice was walleye, and so we go down here to walleye, and it notes that it had 28 samples of walleye. Now, that's not necessarily bad, as well as that's not necessarily telling you that it has or does not have walleye. But if we compare it to another lake, we'll go back to we'll actually go back to our map here. Let's just go to the next lake up, Bell Lake here. If we compare it to Bell, and we're looking right here. Again, gives us kind of a general map area. Bell's kind of a little bit different type of structured lake. It does have some humps to it and some other contour depths. But if we go over here to the lake survey, and our latest one was in 2016 here, we're looking for walleye again. Bell Lake here surveyed at 44 walleyes. And so that's, in my eyes, that's a step in the right direction. It also tells you kind of what was most abundant. So they did catch 13 approximately in that 15 to 19 inch range. So if I was looking for maybe to keep some walleye, that's actually kind of a good size walleye to eat, good eater size. But if you also look here, it does have 13 8 to 9 inchers as well, which kind of tells you that you basically will have anywhere from 8 to 19 inches as probably your most abundant. So if you're looking for the big guys, you might be able to catch a couple 20 plus inchers here. There's a few, but if you're looking for the big guys, this lake might not be your choice. Let's look at one last lake here on the map that's within our 30-minute drive. So kind of knowing these lakes around here and really digging deep into them before, there's a lake over here called Collinwood Lake. Now, Collinwood is kind of nice because if we go down to the Lake Finder again and we type in Collinwood, you'll notice that we'll be heading in the right direction as far as what we're trying to look for. So here's Collinwood. We'll again look at the fish surveys. And again, we're looking for walleye now. And if we look here, as far as the walleyes surveyed out of Collinwood, they got 100 out of their total species sampled. So what that's going to tell me is that the walleye population in Collinwood, hypothetically, is a little bit better than what Bell has. Again, that doesn't mean that Bell doesn't have walleyes, but if you're really looking for more of a guaranteed type of search, this gives you a little bit better reasoning to go fish Collinwood instead of go fishing Bell for walleye. And again, here we can see what is surveyed. It looks like they had an abundance in 10 to 11 inchers, as well as kind of another 15 to 19 inch range as being their abundant stuff. One in that 25 to 29, so I mean that shows you that there can be some big ones in here, as well as 17 in that 20 to 24. So these two numbers right here are actually really good to see. Now again, remember there's different surveys here that you can check out. So it looks like there's even a targeted survey. I think it was, oh, they targeted walleye here. So yeah, this actually gives you a little bit better number. When they do these electrofishing here, they're targeting one species. They got 133 in their little target. But you can tell here that the population is a little bit smaller than what they found. But again, it goes to show you that this lake does have a decent population of walleye. So now that I've gone through the lake finder, looking at different parts of the lake, as well as looking at the survey sample, there's one last step that I'll go to here, which I did not load here, which we'll load right now. Alright guys, so it took me a little time to kind of load this up here, but what I have here right in front of you is actually, it is the West Metro Area book. See who makes this, Sportsman Journal, or Sportsman Connection. So Sportsman Connection here makes these awesome books that in Minnesota you can practically get at any Walmart, any Cabela's, any Gander Outdoors, any retail store that sells fishing stuff. They will more than likely have these books on the shelf. Now the book editions I think run anywhere from $20 to $30, while the online editions that you can download on your computer, tablet, or whatever, they're actually a cheaper version. In my opinion, they're a better version because they're the most updated. So once you download it, you're going to get the most updated survey. Now, we're just going to go to a lake right off the bat here, just to kind of show you what these books kind of have entail. So Lake Calhoun here, near the cities. This is going to give you a lot of different information on where the lake is located, where is the access ramps, the boat ramps, as well as what we see here with the fish stocking data here. It also gives you very similar information that we saw on the DNR website. Now the DNR website is, in my opinion, way more updated because as you can see here, a lot of these surveys will be dated back to 2014. But the reason why I like these books is actually for the fishing information here. Now, we already decided that Collinwood was going to be our lake to fish, so we're actually going to go all the way down in the book, and on the backhand side here it has all the lakes and it tells you what page those lakes are on. So Collinwood here ended up being page 176. So we'll just go here, type in 176, boom, there's Collinwood. So with all this good information on the screen, go down to the fishing information here. What I really like to look at is try to find the section that deals with the species that you're looking for. So the second paragraph here states, walleye fishing is excellent here and you'll find plenty of fish. That's good. Right off the bat, it tells you that the walleye fishing is good. That's another confident reading into that lake to tell us, hey, let's go fish Collinwood. The next part of it says, veteran local anglers report the gravel and rubble bottom off the northeast and the northwest shorelines are often the most productive area for walleye. Boom. That little piece of information right there just gave us a destination to go to. Why that is nice is because that will save you time. That gives you at least a destination right off the bat. You put your boat in the water, you head over to the northeast and northwest shorelines. Now you have your area. We keep reading on. It says here, Lindy rigs, jigs, or slip bobbers with shiners will work well around opener, and then switch to leeches or troll crankbaits as the season advances. Boom. It's like the book pretty much did the work for you. You have an idea of what area to fish, and then you have an idea of how to fish it. And so again, you go down a little bit, it gives you a map area here, and so it did say northeast and northwest shorelines, so you're talking this area as well as this area. So pretty much I could come right off the boat landing here and go right to the areas. Saves a lot of time, and so that is crucial, and that's why I like these books. I like it for that information. It gives you a general point to try. Now again, there's nothing saying that, hey, let's not try to maybe fish off this point here, or maybe try to fish off the hump. or just troll the weed line. I mean, there's so many different things you can do. I mean, you even got different creeks running in here that you can go fish by. There's so many different things you can do here. The book just gave you a idea of a spot to go to. It, again, cuts down the time. And so with those little tips, basically utilizing Google to find the lake, as well as utilizing the DNR's website to look up the lake, can really save you a lot of preparation time when you're trying to pick a lake to choose to fish, as well as it gives you an idea to try new lakes. A lot of us out there, you'll have your specific lake that you go to all the time to catch, this or that. But if you ever want to try something new, at least this gives you an idea of maybe what to avoid and maybe what to just try right off the bat. So hopefully these tips kind of helped you guys with your preparation work. I know it does for me. Anyways, it helps build confidence when I go to a lake that, hey, I kind of know where I'm going to go. I kind of know what I'm going to do. This might and should work in this type of situation. So thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content. In the works, we're going to do a bunch of how-to videos here. I'm going to go over different types of fishing lures and fishing rigs, as well as a bunch of different reviews on products here. So stay tuned for more content and have a good day.